Hello students, today we are going to study the chapter and the name of the chapter is Discovering Tut. The saga continues. It is written by A.R. Williams. What do you mean by Tut? Tut is an expression of disapproval. And what do you mean by saga? Saga we can say epic, prose. Okay, now let's see the overview of the chapter. The chapter makes an interesting reading actually, and it takes us down the memory lane of the history of one of the oldest civilizations of the world. Which civilization? Egyptian civilization. And the chapter actually on one hand delves deep into the mysteries of the mummies, and on the other hand it opens up new vistas provided by the latest scientific inventions and discoveries. Now let's discuss a summary of the chapter so that it will become very clear to us. Summary of the chapter. Who was Tut? Actually here is Tut is a king. King Tut. And he was a teenager ruler of Egypt. And he died in the prime of his life. He was the last of the heirs. Heirs? Who are heirs? What do you mean by heirs? H-E-I-R-S. Heirs. Heirs we can say like Uttaradhikari. Uttaradhikari in the sense grandsons or sons. So last of the heirs of the family that ruled Egypt for centuries. He died under mysterious circumstances. He was laid to rest with gold ornaments. His tomb was discovered in 1922, which increased the curiosity about him. Now his mummy has been subjected to a CT scan to unravel the mystery about his life and death. It was on the day of January 5, 2005, and the time was about 6 p.m. that his mummy was carried under a CT scanner. In 1922, Howard Carter, who was Howard Carter, the British archaeologist, discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. He took months to record the pharaoh's funerary treasures after invigilating 3 nested coffins. But when he reached the mummy, he found that the ritual resins had cemented Tut to the bottom of the gold coffin. Carter had to loosen the resins by exposing the mummy to the scorching heat of the sun, but of no avail. So the mummy had to be chiseled away. Carter's men served the body. Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, admitted that Carter had made the condition of the mummy very bad. Who made the condition of mummy very bad? Carter. Carter, that is C-A-R-T-E-R, Carter. In 1968, an anatomy officer x-rayed the mummy and showed startling facts. But today, the world of investigation has been revolutionized with the invention of CT, by which hundreds of x-rays in a cross-section are put together to create a three-dimensional virtual body. A CT scan can answer 2 very crucial questions. Which questions? Number 1 is, how did Tut die? And the another question was, how old was he at the time of his death? Okay. So now we can get these two answer of these two questions. Tut was the last of his family, so his death was very important. His father, Amenhotep III, was a powerful pharaoh. He was succeeded by his son Amenhotep IV, who started one of the strongest periods in the history of ancient Egypt. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk, and changed his name to Akhenaten, the servant of Aten. After Akhenaten's death, Semenkhare lived for a short period. He was succeeded by a very young Tutankhaten, King Tut, who changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun. He reigned for about 9 years and then died in mysterious circumstances. Egypt has many mummies. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began its inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 mummies so far. The next phase of the project is to scan these mummies with a portable CT machine. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned. The CT machine created 1700 digital X-ray images in cross-section. Tut's entire body was scanned and investigated by a team of specialists in radiology, forensics, and anatomy. The mummy was scanned for about 3 hours. The technicians and the specialists studied the mummy minutely from different angles and everything went in the right direction. Now, who was Amenhotep III? Amenhotep III. Who was he? We can say Tut's father or grandfather. Then a powerful pharaoh also, and he ruled almost 4 decades. Okay. Then who was Amenhotep IV? He was son of Amenhotep III. Okay, and he ruled, but he made drastic, unpleasant changes, and he also changed his name Akhenaten. And last but not the least, he promoted worship of sun disk. Okay, now who was Tutankhaten? Who was he? Widely known as King Tut. Then changed name to Tutankhamun, that is living image of Amun, as I told you earlier also. Restored old ways and also ruled about 9 years, and his last characteristic was that he died mysteriously and unexpectedly. Now the time for questions. Question number 1. Describe the contribution of Amenhotep IV to Egypt. And question number 2. Why was Howard Carter's way of investigation resented? I hope you'll be able to answer these two questions. Now this is the end of the chapter.